And you know what surprised me? His own father forgot David. What scares me is David, no, it doesn't scare me. I'm actually proud of David because he was seeking after God's heart. What got him to that position wasn't his gift, but the condition of his heart. Most of us were looking for our gift and ability to qualify us. But God is looking for, is your heart coming after me? Are you coming after me? And I want to go verse by verse a little bit, just to let you know what was going on. From verse, it says, when they arrived outside Eli, thou surely the Lord has anointed stands here before the Lord. I want to say this to you. The value of one person is not based on your appearance. It's not based on your appearance, based on your looks. God looks at your heart and says, wow, this person is coming after me. This is why I want to tell you guys a testimony because I don't have much time. When I was 13, I was just looking based on people's appearance, the approval. When you're in middle school, man, it's tough. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's hard. It's not easy. And they would tell me, like, Sam, you have to look certain this way, you have to look this, you have to do that. And I was just living through the motions. I was wearing what they were telling me, I was doing what they were telling me. And at one point, it just got too much. They were saying, you have to look a certain way to look approved. And I was kind of chubby at that time, so they would make fun of me. It got to that point, I was like, God, I'm tired of life. So what I did, you know what I did? I tried to commit suicide at the age of 14. Why? Because I was living by people's approval instead of God's approval. I took a rope, tied it on my neck, and I jumped. But by God's grace, it broke. What will kill the call of your life, the calling of God in your life, is people's approval. If you're constantly asking people, do you approve this, do you approve that? That will kill the calling in your life. Do you want to be remembered by man, or do you want to be remembered by God? Tell your neighbor, do you want to be remembered by man, or do you want to be remembered by God? All right, let's come back. Let's come back. You know, Jesse blows me. He offers his best to Samuel. He tells him, "These are my best. These are my boys. This is my favorite." And he gives him his best. But what blows me is his best. The condition of their heart was not aligned with God. The condition of their heart was not aligned with God. And he offers him his best. But God is like saying, listen, it's not about the physical appearance. It's about your heart. When he looks at you, does he say, they are after my heart, or are they after my hand? Because it's very easy to go after God for the things he can do for you. But it's another thing to go after his heart. Are we a generation that wants the miracle? We want to see him move mightily in the aspect of just doing signs and wonders. Or do we want to be a generation that says, even if I don't have signs and wonder, I just want to know you? Is your relationship with God conditional? If he do this for me, then I'll obey him. Is your relationship with God conditional? And it blows because Jesse didn't see the value in David. You know how he addressed him? He's just a tender for the sheep. He addressed him based on his occupation. God doesn't address you based on your occupation, but the condition of your heart. He addresses you based on his calling and purpose for you. Tell your neighbor, God doesn't address you based on your occupation, but rather his purpose and calling for you. And you know what blows me? Is this Jesse says he's just a tender. He's someone that keeps of the sheep. You know what God calls him? He's a king. So there's two things that I see there. There's the identity the world gives you, and there's the identity God gives you. Which one are you buying? Which one are you living by? Because the second you start to live like the world's identity, how do I say this, man? You diminish the calling God has for you. You live to a standard that is below what God has for you. Let me give you guys an example. On a highway, right? What is the speed limit? 55, 60 max? 55, right? It says speed limit 55. But your car can go up to how far? 120? And the problem, most of us, the world has put a limit on us saying, this is how far you can go. But God is saying, do you know who you are? There's so much more to you. You're not just limited to 55. I'm not saying break the law, y'all. I'm not telling you to break the law. But I'm trying to help understand. I'm trying to help you understand that you are such a valuable people. And the world and the people and the devil wants to keep you content where you are, stagnant. This is how far you can go. But God is saying, no, I have so much for you. There's so much potential in you. The Bible says we are a light. Am I right? Why is it that when we get into an atmosphere where there's darkness, we want to be like them? Oh, yeah, I did not catch that. We want to turn on and off our light. Why? God is calling you to be a light. Since we want to live by people's approval, we want to conform to the pattern of the world. So we live this conditional life. When I'm here, when we're doing drugs, whatever, I'm going to do that. Okay, Sundays, I'm going to lift my hand. What kind of life are you living? I'm here to tell you, listen. People might look at your outer appearance, but God looks at your heart. Your heart. I'm going to give you guys another example. When God gave me this revelation, you guys don't understand. I was running, I was shouting, I was praising God because I was praying. I'm like, God, man, you are so good, but help me understand how valuable the condition of my heart is. And He showed me the A. I'm like, okay, A, all right. And the more I thought about it, A, what gives value to the A? Is it the shell or the yolk that's inside of it? The yolk that's inside of it, right? But most of us, we live our life just as a shell. Not knowing that there's so much more protein, so much more good things that's inside of us. And what God will do sometimes is He will crack you to show you how valuable you are. You guys did not catch that. You guys did not catch that. Man, if we understand who we are in Christ, our life will be different. Our life will be different. It won't be the same. We won't have multiple identities. How many of you guys watched the movie Split? You know how he has multiple different identities? My pastor said something that really shook me. My good God, today. He said something to me that really hit me personally. He said, Sam, if I was to ask your parents how you live your life, what would they say? And I was like, I love God, man of God. He pursues God. And he's like, okay, if I go to your work, would they say the same thing about you? If I go to your school, would they say the same thing about you? Or do you have 3 different identities? And it had me question. I want to ask you guys today. Are you different when you come to school? Are you different when you go to church? Are you different when you go to work? Or when I see you, will I see Jesus in you at all spectrum of life? Something the passage that blows me, it says, when they saw Samuel, they were trembling. When people see you, do they see Jesus or do they see the world? Come on now. Come on now. When people see you, do they see Jesus? Or do they see the world? How can you be a solution if you're acting like a problem? Yeah, I did not catch that. That doesn't go over your head. God said we are the solution. We are his ambassadors. Meaning that the way we live our life is not as people that live on earth, but as people that represent heaven. And I want to ask you, have you cheapened your calling? Because you're living by people's approval. You guys are such valuable people. Valuable people. The world needs you. People need you. You are a light. I'm going to give you guys another testimony because I feel like it's very important. I work at a mall. And working at a mall, there's a lot of people that go in and out. And one time I was just sitting reading the word and just spending time with the Lord. This person comes up to me and says, hey, I want to commit suicide. And I'm here thinking, listen, there's so many people in the mall. Why me? You know what I mean? Why me? But when you are a light, people will be attracted to you. Tell your neighbor, are you a light? And what blows me is God is faithful because he doesn't look to my abilities to be a light. It's because he's inside of me that they're able to come to me. It's not by my own work, you guys. It's not because I look good. It's not because I have powers or anything. But the living God is living inside of me. As a result, it will attract people. It will attract people. Another occasion, I was just doing my job. And this guy comes up and he was trying to sell his phone. I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy your phone. And next thing you know, he opens up like a book, says, yo, I'm struggling with drugs. I'm losing my house. My wife is divorcing me. And I'm just here like, I didn't ask you anything. But when you are a light, you are a solution. You are a solution. That's when I understood God is not a respecter of age. He's not a respecter. If you're available, he's ready to move. If you're saying, God, my heart is after you, he's saying, okay. What qualified David wasn't his physical appearance, but he was a man that was after God's heart. You see, when you chase after God's heart, he will put you in a position that you never thought you would be in. But the problem with most of us, we want the position without the relationship. My God, my God. We want to be used without God. Without intimacy with him. It's easy to do service without God. Do you want to be people that when God looks at, wow, they can do a lot without me? Or do you want to be known people that God says, man, I walk with them. Yeah. These are people that I work with. I want to encourage the worship team and everybody that want to serve God. Whatever you do should never be based on just service. It should always flow from a place of intimacy with God. Always flow from an intimacy with God. Because when you start to do things for God without God, it becomes a job. It becomes a duty. But when you start to do things with God, it becomes a passion. It becomes a desire. You know, Jesse said he's just a little boy that we don't consider. But God said, you are a king. Some of us here might say, God, my friends say this about me. My parents say this about me. But God is saying, listen to what I'm saying. Don't live by people's approval. Live by God's approval. My God, my God.